Welcome to Five Cool Things I Want to Share with You, a fun little series I decided to start this summer. I hope you enjoy these ideas. If you have other ones to share with me, I would love to hear them and share them with people. These are things that I'm watching, things that I'm reading, things that I'm listening to. So let's get started. First of all, if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Robert Zeitlin. I'm a positive psychologist and the emotional intelligence coach for fathers. I am sharing these treasures with you that I find on my journey to upgrade who I am and also in my mission to help fathers become the best dad ever. So let's get started. Let's start with the thing that's blowing me away right now. This is the story of the making of the movie Fury Road, which is the fourth installment of the Mad Max series. And if you don't know the Mad Max series, this is four films over a span of almost 40 years, 30 plus years. The first of them came out when I was just becoming aware of movies that really transfixed and moved me. Like this is 78, 79. This is when Animal House came out. This is when Alien came out, the first Alien movie, and the first Mad Max came out in 1979. And it was the directorial debut of a guy named George Miller, who trained to be a doctor in Australia. And once he got certified, completely gave up medicine and went into filmmaking. And for this first movie, he plucked out of acting school a young actor who went on to become the biggest actor in Hollywood, Mel Gibson. And there's more story to that, of course. But starting out in 1979 with this crazy character, Mad Max, in the middle of a post apocalyptic desert, racing cars, crashing cars, all these wacky reanimations of machines and this strange new world. But the thing about it that captured my attention, a lot of people's attention, was the frenetic pace of the movie that he created, where there was just almost like in a very sped up time when movies were starting to get sped up, really created car crashes, created all these stunts that were obviously like gritty and live. There wasn't a lot of movie magic and CGI to it. And what was amazing was, as opposed to filmmakers that do that in their first movie and then they get money so that they can start to add in, visual effects, etc. He kept that same mode in his second movie. Third movie changed around a little lot. That was called Thunderdome, and it involved Tina Turner. That movie was a little bit two movies put together. But anyway, we're not getting into the history of Mad Max. The thing that blows me away, the thing that's amazing, reading this story of how this movie was made, but also seeing the movie 30 plus years later from the original one, is he still didn't resort to computer effects. He still did gritty, fast paced, scary, stunt filled movie with incredible vehicles and all this action happening in the desert. It's almost impossible to imagine how this was made in 2000. It was made in 2012, 2013. It came out in 2015. But the cool part is that you get to read about it, and that's why I'm so blown away by it. Is I'm reading a story of the making of this movie by Kyle Buchanan called Blood, Sweat, and Chrome. And so the making of the movie, his book is really pulling from interviews from the actors, from the director, from the stuntmen, from all the people involved in the movie, and people who are big fans of the movie in Hollywood. How this movie was made over a period of almost 20 years is a stunning achievement in art in general, but also incredible that he was able to stay true to his mission and vision and also really not hurt anyone in the process. The stunts, when you see the movie, are just insane. There's actually a black and white version of the movie, which they call black and chrome because of the cars and everything, which really shows an amazing aspect of this movie, which was it was made visually. It was made through storyboards. For the longest time, when they were creating and developing this movie, they had a room filled with storyboards on the wall. They'd bring in people and they'd say, "This is where we are." And at the peak, it had 35,000 storyboards to tell this story and no script. The actors didn't have any dialogue. There was nothing. It was completely a visual story. and the making of it is an insane story. And I highly recommend the book Blood, Sweat, and Chrome by Kyle Buchanan. And then, of course, the movie, which you just feel drawn to see after you read some of the stuff. I've now seen that and the color version. And honestly, the black and white version really just stands out. So here's some other things that are inspiring me right now. There's a new how-to book. I'm always into how-to books. I read probably 99 how-to books and one book of fiction in my life. And this is called How to Begin by Michael Bungay Stanier. He's the author of The Coaching Habit, which was the first time I was introduced to this author, who really boiled down and made something that felt very complicated very simple, and brought it down to the essential steps. And that's what he does here with how to begin something, how to create a commitment to something that you're starting, and the 3 steps to get there. And he breaks that down in the book beautifully. And then he has an accompanying video course, which are actually very reasonably priced as well. And I'm a big fan of both making it simple and making it accessible. But I love the way these new ideas are being launched and presented in multiple ways. So here's a book and here's a video course. I'll also talk in a second about the Carbon Almanac, which was also launched. It's an amazing story of that being launched. I can talk about that more next time. But it was also launched along with 4 podcasts, so 4 accompanying podcasts, so people can access and get in multiple ways and then sort of cross-pollinate along these different media streams. So I also, for anyone who knows me, watch a lot of television, and it's currently the golden age of television. And so I want to share 2 shows that are also currently like just capturing my attention. There's a lot of great TV out there, and there are a lot of amazing shows, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, I'm a huge Marvel fan, but these 2 shows really have stood out the last month or 2 that I've watched them. The first one, honestly, I haven't finished the 2nd season. It's called Physical, and it's on Apple Plus. I hope these brands don't mind me mentioning. I mean, that's where they're airing these shows. So on Apple Plus TV, the show Physical, starring Rose Byrne, is a throwback to showing you a story of a family at the birth of the aerobics craze. And I know that doesn't necessarily sound that enthralling, but the thing that's really stunning about this show is the way that the main character's inner dialogue is played out, and how gritty and real that is, and how difficult it is sometimes to watch her struggle with what she's struggling with. I personally have a problem with this drip idea campaign that I'm like going to wait for the next serial, episode to come. So when I find out that that's happening, I'll usually stop watching a show and wait till it all drops. And once it's all there, then I'll go back and watch it. And that happened, I think, last week with the last episode of the 2nd season of Physical. So I can't wait to finish watching that show. It's been so magnetic just because of the way the characters are drawn. Another show that I just finished, and a high recommendation from my wife Betsy, was The Bear, which is a show starring one of the actors from the show. That show he played Lip. I show. He's a CIA trained chef who's back to his family. And I love about the show, what really makes me coming back is how you level up, you handle your own family system. And it's an amazing examination of you hate, you love to hate. It's really so compelling, and it's really beautifully written, and I really appreciate that. Lastly, 2 movies that I streamed this week. One is The Gray Man, which Netflix is moving pretty heavily. It's their head-spinning director turn by the Russo brothers, who were brought in for the last installments of the Marvel universe with Infinity War and Endgame. They really did an amazing job with some of those movies. And now here they are with an action thriller starring Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, who plays Captain America in the Marvel series. Um, and it's just the pacing and the editing and the way they're making an action movie feels like a whole new breed. And it takes a pretty familiar, you know, model, and I think really levels it up. It's really awesome. And the other thing is not so much a movie, although the movie is great, Logan, but it's really the star turn by Daphne Keane, who plays the young girl in the middle of the drama. At that point, then 11. Um, there's a moment where I'm watching it, and my wife comes by in the middle of a brutal scene where she is just like uh, just it's just a brutal fight scene, and she sees this girl in the middle of it, also kicking ass, but also like being, it's just a really rough scene. And my wife's like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I can't believe you're watching this. Like, this is horrible. And I just think about the opportunities given to women, given to young girls. This is an actress who has gone on to play Lyra in the His Dark Materials series on HBO. So she's definitely on the rise, and she does an amazing job in Logan. And I just think it's incredible. Going back to that, what I was talking about with Fury Road, there's a sort of a tribe of older women who come in later in the movie, and they are in the book describing how honored and excited they were that they were able to like do action and learn to shoot guns and do all this stuff. Usually they're called for very sedate roles as grandparents or hospital patients or whatever. So I thought of that when watching Daphne Keane and being like amazed at the opportunity that was given to this young girl to play this sort of kick-ass superhero type role. Um, and that's probably more than five cool things that I have to share with you today. I'm open to new media and resources that you want me to check out, and feature in future episodes of this. I love talking about this stuff. This is why I was inspired to get on here. This isn't so much a promotion as it's exciting to just be able to share this stuff. And if you liked it, let me know. And if you have other things to suggest that I bring up, I'd be happy to share them in future episodes. All right. Um, I feel like there's a lot of talk going on in social media, but not a lot of conversation. So I'm open to bucking the trend of talking and yelling. Instead, send me stuff. I'm listening.